Hello, 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 my masculine energies, my male viewers. How are you? Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is doing well on this day. I hope that your day has been positive and productive. But at the same time, if you're having some challenges or there are some moments where you need some inspiration and some motivation, well, you're tapped in on the right channel. Welcome. This is Maglitas, Masculine Empowering Oracles by me, Maglitas, and it is this mission's channel to bring enlightenment, to bring inspiration, to bring encouragement to my masculine energies out there. Everyone needs encouragement. Everyone needs inspiration. Inspiration is just not only for us feminine energies, us women, but also for you, the masculine energies. Y'all need some love and support too as you navigate through the world of challenges, aspirations, victories, in any area of your life. There's always going to be points that sometimes it leaves us down and out, a little depressed, and so it's always good to sometimes receive support. And it shouldn't be gender specific in how the support comes to you, as long as you get that support. You know, sometimes support doesn't always have to come from your other fellow buddies. It can also come from someone as myself who has dedicated this channel to bring support and love to you, to give you the illumination in the areas that you need assistance in. So if I can do that, then I have done my mission and to bring that enlightenment and inspiration to you. All right. So before we get started, I do want to say that probably moving forward, I am going to change the approach to which I bring out the reading with the cards. So as you know, I do use two decks. I use the archetype deck, which has been made specifically for masculine energies, and then I usually pull cards from the other deck, which is your spirit guide decks, or messages from your guides, which is your spirit angel decks. But in doing so, with the first couple of videos on this channel, I've noticed that because, as I explained from the last time, is that the archetype deck, it's a very small deck. It only consists of 44 cards made up of this deck. And so I was running into pulling out sometimes repeated cards that I used just recently. And sometimes I go back in because I'm trying to give other cards a chance to come out so as to give you different messages of inspiration for that day. So I felt like from today, I just got the thought like, why don't I pre-shuffle the cards and then pre-pull out cards ahead of time so that when I come to you, the cards have been already picked and ready to be shared with you. So I think I'm going to do that for now. I may go back to how I was doing it, but I think this will probably work better because not only will it save time, but it will give me a chance to control and to see which cards that haven't been shared or pulled out yet on the channel. It will give me time to kind of pull certain cards out so as to give it a chance, which are just other inspirational messages for you. So I think it can be a little frustrating when I have to kind of, pull out the same cards that I just recently did in a prior video, and then to have to go back in. So we're going to try this approach. We're going to see how it works, and we're going to move from there. And it will be the same with your other deck. From your spirit guides deck, I will pull out two cards. But as I went through them, they kind of, depending on your first two archetype cards, it will give you an idea in terms of the other cards coming in from your angel cards, if it will kind of tie in and relate, kind of match the message from your archetype cards. So that is what I'm going to do. And so, as I said, we're going to try this approach and we're going to see how it works. All right. So I hope that wasn't too much of a long introduction, but I just kind of like to keep my viewers in the know of any changes, as subtle as it may be or may not be subtle, but that's just how I like to be clear so that there's no confusion and to understand how I will proceed moving forward. All right. So with that being said, let us begin. So the two archetype cards that I pulled out for you for today on this Wednesday, August 10th, is the status quo. And because of the distance between me and the camera, you may not get a very good view. And I explained at my other channel, you can go back to the video before this, I explained the reason why this setup is different because of the situation with the heat I was dealing with in my kitchen. And so I had to move it into my bedroom at this time. It's temporary. So there's going to be a stretch. Whereas in the kitchen, I was able to bring my ring light more closer so that as I pull up the card, you would get really a good view. So if you need to zoom in, you can do so. So this is your first card that was pulled from the archetype deck. It's status quo. So we're going to get into that. And then the other one is romantic. So we're going to see what this is about. All right. So let us go into that before we go into your messages from your spirit angels. So status quo. Status quo is an energy, as the title says, status. It's about status. But status quo is not what you may think it is. You know, when you think about status quo, you think about people that are rich and famous. You know, there's a certain type of status that they need to maintain so that they look like, you know, they're keeping up, so to speak, with the Joneses. I'm sure you heard that expression. But in this scenario, the status quo is not about keeping up with other people. The status quo is the status by which you allow yourself to, what's the phrase I'm looking for? The status by which you set for yourself, okay? A status that's going to make you feel fulfilled, okay? And so some of you might be in a position, depending on what kind of work you do, you might be doing a job or in a career that doesn't fulfill you. And so that status of unfulfillment is something that makes you a bit depressed. It makes you unhappy at times. But for the moment, you feel that you have to maintain that status quo because, for one, it will sustain and paying your bills. It will keep you afloat. Or it's something that do give you some type of monetary satisfaction because it's a job and you're still receiving financial assistance with the kind of work that you do. But status quo means much more than that. You want to be able to live your life that you are truly being fulfilled in whatever area of your life, whether it be for job, career, whether it be in a love relationship, whether it just be with just one's own personal development. That can be a status quo on its own. But when you are maintaining a status that doesn't bring you that fulfillment, doesn't make you happy, then it's time to change that status to one that will bring you fulfillment, a sense of accomplishment. Because sometimes in jobs or careers, sometimes unfortunately it doesn't fulfill us. It doesn't give us a sense of even stability. You know, it could just be something just because you might feel, you feel stuck. Like, I don't have other skills. I don't have other talents. Or maybe the job market, it's not as lucrative as it is. And so it kind of keeps you where you are at. But like I said, maintaining the status quo is not about keeping up with what other people have and what you're trying to strive for. It is what you are trying to strive for so that you can feel enriched about the life choices and how it is and what it is that you create into your life. All right, so that's what I get about the status quo. And now let's go into the book to kind of get more additional meanings about the status quo. All right. Now, just so you know, as always mentioned, that whatever messages or interpretations of the breakdown of the cards that I do interpret, it may not resonate with each and every one of you. It may resonate with just one or two of you. But if it doesn't resonate, it's okay. It's just that it's just not your story for today. All right? Because some of you might say, oh, okay, well, you know, I am in a, Some of you might be where you want to be and your status is right where you want to be. Like I said, your status is good and you have no issues. So if that is the case, wonderful. But for those of you that it might be the opposite, where you are not where you want to be in your life, be it career, your job, your personal, love relationships, then it's a cue to kind of, do something to change it, because nobody wants to go through life being bored, because that can happen in any area, your love life, your job, your career. There's a sense of boredom that might come with it. And so it just shows you that maintaining that boredom status is not going to benefit you in the long run. Okay, so here's the meaning of the status quo. It says here, the hero's journey begins in ordinary life. This first stage of the status quo can feel like the days run together. Indistinguishable, mundane, comfortable, numb. Comfortably numb, just what I mentioned. Some of you might just feel like you have to be or maintain that position or that status because it's comfortable at this point. But you will find out and know that that should not be that continuous feeling that you want to, have for yourself. It says it's easy not to recognize this state of dullness until it's taken from you. The status quo represents the calm before the storm. It is a moment of rest. It's needed, but if you stay too long, stagnation and decay will set in. This might look like working an unfulfilling job, being in a codependent relationship, or finding yourself filling your days with distractions to numb the boredom. When this card appears, ask yourself, what in your life feels comfortable and continual? What feels dull? Are there any nagging life questions you avoid? Look at how you are stepping into change or hiding from it. So as you see, just like I said, you might be in a moment where, or a job or a career that you are comfortable at this point, but even though you're comfortable, you're really, really not happy, and sometimes you might get those nagging questions like, okay, I've been here for X amount of years, and it's like, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to really continue on this path? Do I really want to continue with this job or career? Okay, if you don't have the skills or talents, well, then maybe look into, getting into some type of a training course or something to help you get the skills and the craftsmanship that you need to change your job. Never feel limited to just what it is, just because you are comfortable with. But to know, again, that the power there lies within you to create and to shift the way in which you will feel happy at the end for the long haul. All right? So if you have those nagging questions going on, my fellow men, then, it's time to maybe, this is like, a nudge to say, now is the time to kind of look back and say, is this the direction I want to go? Is this the career that I love? Do I feel passionate about it? If the answer to that is no, then it's not the career for you, and you might need to kind of just sit back and take a moment to just say to yourself, what do I want to try? What I think will make me happy. This status quo here is just not working for me. All right, so that's what I got for that. And if it resonates with you, then like I said, I hope that in some way you can kind of give thought to it. And if it resonates, let me know if it resonates, drop me a comment. But like I said, if it's something that you are currently dealing with at this point, where you're like at wit's end, or you're kind of like between crossroads, then this message is for you. All right, so moving on to your next archetype card is romantic. So again, depending on if you zoom in, you can see this is an energy or a masculine energy of someone here holding flowers. When you think about romantic, it is what the title says. A romantic is someone that has, that shows love, is love. He finds ways to express his love. He is very loving. He's a romantic at heart, but his mission is to bring about that sense of care and passion and just being happy when he do express love. Now, just so you know, the romantic doesn't have to be about a personal romantic relationship. Being a romantic can also spread over to our family, to our children, right? So not only to our wives or partners, but what about your parents, your mother? You could be a romantic in a sense where you can give your mother flowers. When was the last time you actually sent flowers to your mom? You know, these are just loving gestures, but it doesn't per se means a romantic toward someone of the opposite sex, but it could just be people in general. You know, your friends, maybe you have female friends. You're not going to give another man flowers, but the point is those that you might extend love and just care to. It doesn't have to just be toward, like I said, your spouse or your girlfriend or your wife. It could be extended to your family, you know. But overall, this energy is one of giving, basically. This is how I feel that, you know, being a romantic at heart, it's what it says, you know, that phrase, you are romantic at heart. It's your heart chakra that gives you that energy to be loved, to spread love, and to give love, if that makes sense. All right, let's tap into more further meaning about that. Okay, bear with me. Romantic. Okay, let's see. Okay, 58. I need more aqua. All right, it says here, the romantic gains pleasure by making others feel special. He desires to share intimacy and connection. This inspires him to share acts of kindness and tokens of affection. He uses his imagination to bring excitement to the world. The romantic invests his creative energy into making others feel desired. He uses the sensual tools of poetry, gifts, wine, and touch. The romantic must be careful not to use his charm for manipulation. A gift given with expectations is no longer a gift. Let me repeat that. Any gift given with expectations is no longer a gift. Because when you give a gift, it's supposed to be from the heart. It's because you chose to express that love, that gift, because it came from your heart, and you're not looking for anything in return. Okay, so that's why it says if you give a gift and present a gift, but you're looking for something in return, then that kind of depletes the purpose of presenting someone the gift. There's also a big difference between romance and coercion. When working with the romantic archetype, make sure there is an undercurrent of respect and mutual empowerment in your actions. Romantic energy doesn't just have to be toward a lover. Let me repeat that, and I mentioned that. Romantic energy doesn't just have to be toward a lover. Writing love letters to your siblings, having a solo cup of tea, or sharing dinner with friends are all ways you can cultivate romance in your life. When working with the romantic archetype, look to how you can cultivate relationships with integrity. So you see, I was on point with that when I said that being a romantic this card doesn't, even though you see this person here holding flowers, and the first thing that you would say is, is pretending to, giving flowers to someone that you love, someone's in your life, someone who's special. Absolutely, it will be toward that or toward that person. But it can take on other people that you can share gifts of expression to. You have male friends, maybe their birthday, that is another form in which you can, buy gifts or share love for them by giving them something for their birthday. Or maybe they got a promotion at work and they moved up, maybe after many years of wanting a promotion, and now it's time to celebrate. So you would use this loving energy to express and present a gift to that friend. Or, like I said, if you have siblings, you have brothers or sisters, you want to extend. Maybe for your sisters, you want to maybe give them flowers, from their big brother. They appreciate that. It makes them feel special too. And definitely to one's mother, it's very special when a mother can receive, especially from her son. You know what they say, boys, mama boys. So especially when you can take the time out to go to the floral shop and pick up a nice bouquet of flowers for your mom and give it to her. Oh man, that will really make her day, especially if she's been feeling, kind of depressed or feeling low. Flowers has a way to kind of make people feel special. All right, so that's what I get from that. So again, if this is your story, if you've been kind of struggling in that area to kind of express yourself and to show love other than just the ones in your immediate environment, then this message would be for you. All right, so those are the two messages that I pulled from your archetype deck. So I hope they were helpful and encouraging. And now we're going to move on to your next deck, is the messages from your angels or your spirit guides. And so the one I chose and picked out was Live Your Bliss. So to me, this kind of goes back to the status quo. Because again, if you are not living your bliss because you are comfortable with your current status, then you're really not living your bliss. So you want to change that comfort status or that energy that's less than comfortable. You definitely want to change it to a status that will bring you bliss. Okay, and the only way that you can live your bliss is by you taking action, however that is, whatever area of your life. Maybe there might be two areas that you are living your bliss, but maybe the other two is neglected. So you would know how this will resonate with you. All right, so I thought that was kind of I pulled this out because I felt that it somehow connected with the status quo. Living one's own bliss is a very wonderful and fulfilling energy or just type of vibe, because you are truly loving what it is that you do. You are living your best life to the best that you can. You know what I mean? And you're not limiting yourself. When someone lived their bliss, they didn't limit themselves to just what they were comfortable with. They went outside their comfort and they went towards something else that they feel would be a step up than the status that they were maintaining. All right, so let's look into living your bliss and let's get more further meanings about that. Okay, here it is. It says the emotion of happiness is like a beacon calling you to follow its light. When you hold this card, in this case, when the card is pulled, think of the saying, if it feels good, do it. The physical reactions that you have when you do something that makes you happy are like signposts from your guides pointing you in the right direction. Whether you are consciously aware of it or not, there are unique lessons to be learned by following your bliss. Think of the sensations of fulfillment and satisfaction as pearls that are strewn before your soul's journey. They lead you in the right direction. Conversely, if something makes you fatigued or bored, that is also a sign that you have ventured onto a path that won't ultimately fulfill your soul's blueprint. And I just mentioned that. On earth, you will be compelled to various interests or desires. This is because you are coming closer to your soul's nature. Following your dreams is also about letting yourself express your joy. In doing so, you are in alignment with your personal truth. If this card appears, it may be time to examine your priorities. Many lessons that you have incarnated to learn deal with knowing yourself well enough to take chances to follow through on what your soul is telling you, even though it may not seem rational or make sense. And that's what I said. This pretty much just sums up the meaning behind status quo. So you see, your angels work with me to pull out something that will tap into the true meaning of status quo. And as I mentioned, when I read that or interpreted that meaning for that, I mentioned that some of you are just not happy. You're not feeling fulfilled in the long run. So when you get those nagging questions, or if you're feeling that something is not right and that you are ready for change, then that's the nudge, that's the reminder you need to change your status. Never be comfortable where you're at if you're truly not being fulfilled. And this can be in any area of your life. It says, again, when you get that feeling, what basically it is, it's a lesson that it's time to examine your priorities. All right? So sometimes we need to just, when we have a day off to ourselves, or, when we do have time to just, we all should have days that we just kind of do a reevaluation of where we are in life. I think it's very important, regardless of who you are, male, female. I think we all should do that, kind of reflect and give ourselves a review to see, okay, I've been here, or I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I'm really happy. Am I getting the results? Am I getting the fulfillment of what it is that I thought I would want, but I'm really not getting it at this job? It hasn't happened for me yet on this career path. It's not happening in my relationship. So it's time to kind of take a review and just see and tap into what it is and use your feeling, use your heart chakra, use your crown chakra. It's time to open up your chakras, your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, get into yourself, that heart chakra, to really see what really will bring you desire in terms of fulfilling what you want in your life. All right, so that is the message about living your bliss, and that is the message coming in from your spirit guides. All right, and the last card that was pulled, that I picked for you today, is express your feelings. And you know that I did it because it kind of made sense that will work along with the card from your archetype, romantic. So romantic and expressing your feelings. So what a wonderful match. They pretty much give you the same similar meanings of it. So again, as a recap, being that romantic, but let's change it to an energy of just love. Okay, love and expressing your feelings, because love, it is an energy of expressing one's feelings, not only to someone intimately in a romantic relationship, but expressing love to all people that we come in contact with, people that we are connected to, our family and our close friends. Even if they are strangers, it could be someone that we don't know. There are ways that we can express our feelings to people that we just may bump into outside on the street. However it is, maybe we might find an elderly person who maybe is struggling, who has a walker or who has a cane, and maybe is struggling to go down the steps. Well, why don't, we show love and express our feelings, that love that will help us to grab that elderly person's arm and help them down the steps, or help them by opening the door for them as they go into a restaurant or a store. So there are so many variations of ways that you can express your feelings. You know what I mean? So that's what this is about. And we are going to get into the book. and get more additional meanings about expressing your feelings. Let's see what other further inspiring or encouraging messages that can come in about expressing our feelings. And then we are going to then go into the other deck. So it says here, all your feelings are valid and should be honored. You are experiencing these thoughts and emotions for a reason. Never let anyone judge your feelings as silly or inconsequential, because they are obviously manifesting within you for a reason. You have the right of self-expression, and it is imperative on your road of self-enlightenment and awareness. It is vital that you, as a human being, release and express all that is within you in a safe, loving manner. Never judge or harm anyone or another by your actions. That is your ego struggling to make itself known. Be kind and respectful, yet speak your truth. You should never keep a feeling, thought, or emotion bottled inside. You are energy, and energy flows. Before I continue, it just reminded me, now I do have other channels, I have 2 more channels, but on my other channel I do guided meditation sessions. And it just occurred to me as I mentioned about energy flows, on my meditation channel, I mentioned to my viewers there on that channel, right before we get into the meditation position, to prepare the body to relax, there is a few repetitive words that I read today early on when I did my own meditation. And basically the words was, let it go, be at peace, let it flow. And so that just kind of reminded me when I mentioned about flow here, and in way is when it talks about energy and how energy flows, because our body is energy. And so speaking about energy, love is energy. It's an emotion. It's an energy that should never be neglected. It should never be kept to one own self. That's an energy that we want to be able to share to people because it's coming from the heart. So I thought it was something that I wanted to kind of put in there. So continuing, it says, when you create a stoppage by suppressing your valid emotions, they are left to fester within you. Then you are not in harmony, and you are creating a dis-ease to the natural flow of energy. Your thoughts and emotions should always come from a space of compassion. Always examine your feelings before sharing them. Are you coming from a place of love or a place of judgment? It is a fine art indeed to be able to express your feelings while at the same time bolstering the spirit of another. By bringing your truth out kindly, you are letting others know that you are being honest to yourself while being empathetic to them. So that pretty much sums it up. That's the general meaning about expressing your feelings, because expressing one's feelings, again, it is an energy, and that energy is coming about love. So using love. So as you go on through the day or just in your life, find ways to express that love, not only to those in your immediate environment, but also those that are outside of your environment. Express that emotion, because at the end, it's going to be something that is going to be, when you express love and you are love, good things come to you. So that's another energy that will be attracted or come your way. When you are love, good things come about. When you hate, not too many good things come about. But loving energy is an energy also of positivity. It's a positive emotion as well. And it also will help elevate you and keep your vibrations high, and to keep those frequencies at a level that you will be happy because they came from the heart. All right? So those are the messages and the further meanings of the cards here. So those are the 2 archetype messages. So again, Status quo, remember what was said about that. And then romantic, we got into that. And again, if it applies to you, then today's video was definitely, the messages was for you. And then you got your messages from your spirit guides. So let's wind down and close out this reading with pulling with this one in particular. This is a deck that I'm going to probably incorporate onto this channel along with your other two decks. And this is the Soul's Journey deck that I'm using. This is like further spiritual, celestial encouragement from your spirit guides as well, and to help you tap into your own personal growth and development, but as well your spiritual development also. All right, so with this one, like I said, I didn't pick out ahead of time. I left this one to actually shuffle and to pull out to see how we can round out the messages that you got here today, but as well something that you can reflect upon that will help you in regards to the messages that came out for you today. All right, so all right. So, wow, how fitting. You know, every time I use a card from this deck, I don't know, it's scary in a good way, because it just shows that my vibrations is in tune and that my spirit guides work with me to pull out cards that when I pull out cards, because this is a card that I use on my other channel. That is my other tarot channel. I am an intuitive tarot reader. So I have another channel in which I give tarot readings. But when I do that channel, I always start out with a card from this deck as the bullseye card, because it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the reading. And so, speaking of which, when I pulled out this card, this talks about change. And basically, to me, this kind of goes in hand with your first archetype card, status quo, because it's about embracing change or changing the status if it applies to you. So it says change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So how fitting that this card came out. I'm going to read what it says, and then we will end this reading. So again, if there's an area that is stagnant, if it's an area that you're not happy with, it's time to make that change, because otherwise, if you stay where you at, if you're trying to maintain that just basic mundane status, you are not allowing yourself to grow and evolve, you know? So let us see what it says. So it says, there is a certain comfort in the idea of living a life without surprises. The status quo, wow. Isn't that something? It says the status quo, and you got the status quo archetype from that deck. Amazing. So it says the status quo has an appeal, but you will never learn or grow if your circumstances stay the same. Everybody wants life to be better, but that requires change. You have chosen to incarnate into this physical dimension called Earth because of the merit of opportunities. If you don't take advantage of them, what was the point? Staying within your comfort zone is overrated. With change comes transformation, and with transformation comes evolution. Stop viewing change as good or bad, because all change nourishes your soul. Don't equate it with a lack of control. Life happens, and it's supposed to happen. You can direct how it plays out, and you always have the power to accept the change that redirects your path. And that's what I said. It's in you to change the narrative of your story, or in this case, to change or shift the way in which you want to go. Something that is going to make you happy and fulfilled, so that you can then get to a status quo that makes you more fulfilled in life, makes you happy on all levels, but you're not limiting yourself to that. All right? So how fitting that this card was. change. Now, if you want, you might want to screenshot this so that you can have it to kind of go back to reflect upon, to kind of give you something encouraging. You know, if you are in this transition of change, all right? I really like this. I think definitely going forward, we are going to approach the cards this way. I'm going to, like I said, from the 2 decks, I'm going to pull it out, pre-shuffle, pull out what I think I want to talk about for the day, and then we will save your last deck for me pulling out one and hope that it will kind of tie in. And somehow, like I said, I like working with that deck because it just seems to synchronize with the messages whenever I use that card. So I really like how this turned out. So everyone, this ends our reading for today. I hope all of you enjoyed this reading. I know I did. I think I like all my videos, but this one, something about this one was a little special. So if you felt it as well and you really liked what was conveyed to you and it did resonate with you, please let me know. Don't be bashful, don't be shy. Drop me a message, a comment into the comment section to let me know if this did resonate with you, or it may not, but it's still something encouraging. But at any time that it doesn't resonate with you, it may resonate with somebody in your life, your brother, your father, or a friend. So I believe that the messages can somehow still be given and taken from someone that do need that inspiration and encouragement in any area that we, break down and talk about. All right. So in addition to dropping me a comment, hit that thumbs button to give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share with your friends and your family. Those are the masculine energies. And I really hope that you did feel empowered because, like I said, you are now on the journey. You're on that path to step toward the warriors you were all meant to be. So with all that being said, continue to step into the warriors you was meant to be. I hope that these was very empowering messages for you today. And until the next time we connect, I'm wishing all of you a wonderful Wednesday. Bye. Peace, love, and light.